question. Hello and welcome in to Katie Show Live. And with me, a man that needs no introduction, but I'm going to give him one anyways. Reggie Fils-Aime. I feel like I've grown up with you.
I know, it's been years.
It's been years. The first time I met you, what was it like? I remember by the time the console was launched. It had to have been around 3DS time.
Must have been around 3DS time.
Because I awkwardly street passed you. I was like, can we do a street pass? And it was weird for the both of us.
I should probably still have that me on one of my 3DSs.
It was a little Pikmin leaf on my head.
Yeah.
So excited to be sitting down with you. I'm glad I caught you now because it's not a busy time, especially in these last 12 months.
You think so?
You have free time, Super Mario Run, Nintendo NES Classic Edition, and now, of course, all things
Nintendo Switch.
Oh my goodness. And breaking records for the Switch. Is that staying consistent? What we saw the first 2 days of broke US records.
Correct. So we announced the first 2 days. So now we have data for the US 5 days in. Continues to be the best-selling system we've ever had here in the United States. And I've launched 5 systems now with Nintendo.
Crazy.
And by far this is the most remarkable, given the pace of sales, given what's happening on the software front. Obviously, Legend of Zelda.
Yep.
So this is an amazing time for us. And
we're going to dive into all things Zelda because I have to tell you, I was playing. It is incredible just in the graphics alone how far we've come. It's breathtaking on the Switch. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was just telling Reggie, and I'll share it with you, I don't care, I'm not ashamed. Like, asking for a friend, is Link available? Like, super attractive. That's how far we've come in graphics, okay? Maybe I'm a nerd, I don't know. But for real, let's dive into all things Switch. For anybody who's watching, can you explain, obviously, how this console is different than past experiences?
Sure. So, the Nintendo Switch, the home console gaming experience that you could take anywhere, play with anyone, anytime. That's the proposition. And we have worked so hard to drive clarity in what Switch is, why you should be excited, and that's in part what's driving these stellar results. So of course, we've got Legend of Zelda, we've got 1-2 Switch, we've got Snipper Clips, all of this great software now, great software to come, but it's the simplicity of the concept that I can have my big 50-inch TV experience, and then when I have to go on a plane, on a train, in a car, I take it with me and I can continue to play. Unless I'm driving, of course, then I can't play while I'm driving, but that's the concept.
I've actually been amazed by how much I'm using it mobile. Because I thought, like, I have a massive TV and that's like my baby. That experience it's 2 different experiences. And to pick it up so quickly, I think what's so great for any Nintendo fan is how you've actually recreated the console, put the blinders on, not gone in this direction of VR or AR, any of this trending stuff happening right now, stuck to you, but then also made it so easy to pick up. Like, you get it right away.
You really do. One of the things that we've heard from players is it's not only the ability to take it with you on the go, like outside your home, but just the core concept of, I want to go from my living room to my bedroom. I want to go from one room to the other to be able to take it with me, not have to stop playing, just continue on. That's the experience that's just really turning on consumers, and obviously the sales results are supporting that.
So lots of questions coming in, and I want to be selfless and get to some of those. Please feel free to keep sending them to me. Big question on the games. So
yes.
Obviously, reading all the articles, no surprise, launched with 10 games and continuing to just drive out new third-party.
Correct.
But also
indie games are coming out on a regular basis, which is great. Obviously, our next big Nintendo event is actually not going to be a brand new game. It's going to be the test fire for Splatoon. That's going to happen later this month for Splatoon 2. Then obviously end of April we've got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and then ARMS is going to launch later on, so it's going to be a very strong lineup.
And some classics too, because I saw Tetris is coming in just a few weeks.
Yeah, that's right.
Very exciting. But also to the questions asked about, not only on the gaming side, we're going to see that continued through fall, but also on the Netflix Hulu side. Many people anticipating, is that going to be on the platform?
Yeah, and I've said this publicly. We're having all those conversations. We wanted to launch, though, with a dedicated gaming device. We wanted to have this singular focus because, again, I have to say it, as we learned some lessons from the launch of Wii U, where the proposition maybe wasn't as clear as it needed to be, we wanted folks to understand this is a gaming device
Yeah.
That's built for your big screen TV that you could take on the go. Clarity of message. And so the conversations are happening with all of these various application providers. It's going to come in due time. We're focused right now on a great gaming device.
It's actually a good question. Max P on Twitter, some games are priced higher on Switch compared to other platforms. Why?
You know, from a third-party perspective, that's a third-party decision, right? We don't make that pricing decision. So, you know, when you see those difference in prices, call up that third-party publisher and ask them.
Just let it out.
That's not a decision we get to make.
I was excited to see though, you know, Bethesda on board. A lot of really cool, like NBA 2K coming. Do we see WWE 2K?
Yeah, we haven't announced anything along those lines yet. Stay tuned. We'll see what happens. But look, one of the things that third-party developers get excited about is when you have a differentiated product that delivers, when you've got ease of development, and you know, we've got the Unity engine, we've got Unreal, we're working with all of the various companies that have their proprietary engines, so when you have a straightforward development environment, and when you have the promise of a large install base, guess what? Developers want to create content, and we're seeing that across the board. So, you know, all of the favorite questions that are coming up, hey, how about this, how about that? You know, we're having all of those conversations, and our goal is for the very best content to be available on Nintendo Switch.
Well, and one that's killing it in terms of content, right behind us, all things Zelda. It's interesting to see, and I have to get to the specific question again. Max, this is a good one from you. Zelda being received very well on the Japan side too.
Correct.
That speaks volumes.
Absolutely, and again, you know, Zelda here in the Americas, you know, it is just a hugely strong franchise. Same is true in Europe. Historically, not as strong in Japan. This game is killing it in Japan. And so, you know, it really speaks to how Mr. Aonuma, the development team, had this vision of breaking the Zelda conventions, doing something different, doing it in a world-class way, and having a stellar result, and it's driving sales.
Going to get to some of your questions on Facebook. Animal Cross, is that coming to Switch soon? Alana Hendricks. That's a good one. I love that
Crossing,
one.
You know, so if I were to pull out my my 3DS that has the Animal Crossing face, and I'm back playing Animal Crossing, you know, we'll see. We haven't announced anything really beyond beyond this holiday with Super Mario Odyssey. You know, it's a key franchise for us. Obviously, we're working on Animal Crossing for smart device. Stay tuned.
Any cloud services that saves your Nintendo Switch games?
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Whoa.
Nothing to announce today.
Good question, Luis. You know, it's a bit tangential, but you talk about these last 12 months and so busy with Super Mario Run, NES Classic Edition, which still is flying off the shelves.
Yes.
Can I tell you, this is how loyal I am as a new Nintendo fan. One of my Twitter followers that is very, very loyal was like, I'm having one of these moments. Do you got any connections? And I'm like, I'm not making a call, you know, I'm not cashing it in. I can't tell you what I paid on eBay for a Classic Edition, but it was like so fun. Like, and it came and they were excited. That happened. Don't get any ideas. That's a one-time deal.
Yeah, so I have to tell you the story. So I know when we have a great proposition based on the phone calls I get from people I knew 30, 35, 40 years ago that I haven't heard from since then. And you get the phone call, hey, Reggie, how you doing?
This is like equivalent to winning the lottery.
I'm just waiting for the, and can you help me get a Nintendo Switch?
Right.
And can you help me get a NES Classic?
Long lost relatives.
Yeah, not so much with relatives, but it's the old high school or junior high school friend. And so a lot of those phone calls for NES Classic, a lot of calls for Nintendo Switch.
So funny.
So that's my own internal indicator.
I've felt so good during that time period, though, because it's obviously clear that I've been a huge Nintendo fan my entire life. It's my preferred platform. And I feel like we were in, just honestly speaking, like this little bit of a lull period where we needed something to excite us. And then boom, 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 it all happened at once, from Run to Classic to now Switch. And it's like this resurgence. And of course, things ebbs and flow, and
Sure.
You can't expect, things to come out every week. But it's got to be an exciting time and a revitalizing time for the company, too.
It's a very exciting time. And then, think about what we have to look forward to. So obviously there's going to be more games coming from Nintendo Switch. But guess what it's going to feel like when we start unveiling more about the Universal Studios relationship? Guess what it's going to feel like as we do more of these collaborations like we did with Vans and Uniqlo? There is so much that we're doing, driving our IP forward, driving the brand forward. It's a great time to be a Nintendo fan.
All right, fine, Alejandro. I'll ask. Super Smash Brothers for Switch. I'm keep giving you all these specific game questions. I'm doing it for the people.
You know, Smash is obviously one of our best-selling franchises. You know, what we say is that the philosophy that Nintendo has from a development standpoint is that for every platform, we want to have at least one of our classic franchises, right? There's going to be one great Super Mario experience. There's going to be one great Zelda experience. So you can expect, you can anticipate at some point in the future, who knows when, that all of our franchises will be addressed. Nothing to announce today, right? I'm not going to announce the date for Super Smash Brothers.
I'm just kidding.
But, you know, we know that the fans love these games, love this content, and so, you know, stay tuned.
What was the hardest console or hardest platform to really launch in the last 12 months? From Run, which was with iOS, and your first kind of realm into iOS, and then Classic Edition, which is just so unique in itself and so vintage throwback, and then obviously this was just brand new and just exciting.
Yeah, every platform is different, right? Every platform has unique opportunities and challenges. You know, Super Mario Run, you know, you participated with that. Thank you very much.
So fun.
And you know, for that, it was working for the first time where we're not the platform holder.
Yeah.
And we've now generated this fantastic relationship with Apple. You know, we're looking forward to the launch coming soon with Google. So that one, you know, it's a unique opportunity, but you know, it's been fabulous. NES Classic, you know, we knew it was a huge idea.
I can't believe over holiday, to your point, that was insanity.
I mean, so it's one of these where, as we have the conversations, as we drive the global alignment, you say to yourself, this is going to be huge, right? You know, with Nintendo Switch, you know, the first time I picked up the system, I had that same feeling from when the first time I picked up a Wii Remote, in terms of how we were potentially going to be upending the industry again. And so, you know, when you've done a number of these, you have that, you know, spidey sense in the back of your neck that you're doing something really special. I felt that way as I saw early prototypes of Nintendo Switch. And what's beautiful is, you know, we've got more stuff coming, right? There's going to be an ongoing plethora of news coming from Nintendo and our IP. You know, that's what we do. That's why we make our fans smile.
It might be a fun story to share about the first time that you met Mr. Miyamoto. We were talking about this just a few minutes ago before we went live. Such a cool dude.
You know,
I mean, hands down.
And you know, you made the point that, you know, there are times when you meet, you know, luminaries that, you know, kind of the bubble is burst. But that is not at all with Mr. Miyamoto. And so I think the fans know my story, right? My story is I was a Nintendo player and a Nintendo fan before I became a Nintendo executive.
Which kind of makes it hard too, because you don't want to ruin that love for something you're so passionate about.
But again, for me, it was this unique opportunity. Again, rewind the clock, 2003. You know, GameCube is not doing all that well.
Yep.
We were just about to reduce the price to $99, and that's when the system really started taking off. Sony had announced they were entering the handheld market with PSP. They hadn't shown anything yet, but they just announced it. And so there was pressure on our handheld business. I joined the company December of 2003. My first trip to Japan was in January of 2004. And I was fortunate enough to see a prototype of Nintendo DS.
Yes.
And this was circuit boards, so this wasn't, you know, anything ready to show publicly. And I'm looking at this and I'm making a smart comment or two when I look, you know, to my side and there's Mr. Miyamoto. You know, and I'm not lying. My knees were shaking a little bit, you know, luckily he couldn't tell. And, you know, that was my first experience meeting, you know, an industry icon. But, you know, he respected right away. I was asking smart questions. I showed I understood, you know, the brand and some of the key IP. I've been fortunate, you know, to have a stellar relationship with him, you know, for the last 14 years. So it is one of these things, I think, that does set us apart as a company. We are passionate about our product. we are a group who believe in what we're doing. And whether it's the team in Japan, the team in the US, the team in Europe, even our business partners across the world, we're passionate about what we do. And hopefully it shows up in the content that's created.
Well, I can definitely tell you too, and just from a media perspective, it's cool to meet genuine people like yourself and Mr. Miyamoto, where you can have an honest dialogue and not hear 50 industry buzzwords and be like, dude, Reggie, what's up? And you like respond. So it's certainly appreciated. I'm gonna get to one last question because Reggie has a packed schedule. I don't want to time burglarize him. Let's see. It's like roulette. It's like thousands of messages here. I can get a good one. Wait for it.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Is your body ready, Reggie?
My body is always ready. I can't tell you how many I get stopped at the airport. Here's a great story.
Please do.
I'm traveling. I'm going through TSA. I have an early Nintendo Switch. Of course, because of the size of it, right? They had to.
Is this at a time where people haven't seen it, by the way?
People.
You had to put it in the bin?
People had seen it. It wasn't available for sale yet, right? And of course, I'm traveling, playing with Legend of Zelda. So goes through security. They have to take another look at it. And I happen to be, the TSA agent happens to be like this super fan. And so initially it's just, Reggie, can I just get a selfie with you? So we do that, right? After they recheck all my luggage, I do the selfie. I'm getting ready to leave. And I say, you want to see something really special?
No.
Because we hadn't pulled out the Nintendo Switch. I pull out the Nintendo Switch in the Sheikah Eye special carrier, and I show the TSA agent. He was
That's
like he was
the
like a
Ark
child.
of the Covenant.
He was like a child in the moment, and I mean. It's so wrong on so many levels, right? TSA agent selfie, getting all weirded out because I'm carrying a Nintendo Switch, but honest story.
I can't top that, but I was going through security during holiday with the NES Classic, and I got stopped by TSA, and the dude was like, sup? And I was like, I had that moment where I was like, I'm kind of cool right now, just for a moment. All right, last question, promise. CM Pepsi on Twitter. Does the release of the Switch have any impact on the 3DS console? It's a good question.
It's a great question. Has no impact, right? We continue to be committed to our Nintendo 3DS business. We've announced, a number of great games that are coming, a new Pikmin experience coming for a Nintendo 3DS. We have more surprises on the way. We are committed to that as our dedicated handheld business. Over 1,000 games for Nintendo 3DS. It's been, it was the only platform that grew last year in 2016. Our focus is continuing to drive growth here in 2017. So we continue to be committed to our Nintendo 3DS business, and stay tuned, right? More surprises coming.
And sorry, as a last final thought, with that said, because you guys are so passionate about what you do, how do you put the blinders on at a company level to say, like you go to CES, for example, everything's virtual reality, everything. Go to a toy fair, everything's augmented reality. How do you say we got to focus on what we innately know is going to work?
Well, and again, what is lost in all of this is that Nintendo experimented with virtual reality way back then. The device that has arguably the most augmented reality activity happening is Nintendo 3DS. And so we understand
with the cards right out the gate.
The cards, some of the different AR functionality that we built in. And so we understand the tech. And that's one of the things that I think at times there's a misunderstanding. People look at our products and say, Nintendo doesn't understand technology. No. We understand technology exceptionally well. But our view is that we are making products for the mass market, for the mainstream. We want to have another 100 million unit success like we did with the Wii, like we did for the DS. I mean, here we are with the Nintendo 3DS approaching 70 million units.
Crazy.
That's the way we think about the business. And so for us, we'll do more with some of these other technologies when we believe that they can be mainstream. That'll be the opportunity.
Great way to end it. Reggie, good stuff.
Great to see you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Katie's Show Live. If you didn't catch the whole interview, you can go back and watch it again. Thank you so much to Reggie and to all the Nintendo people you see around here. Go ahead and show them because they are a hard-working bunch. Good peoples. Thank you, everyone, and thank you guys for tuning in. As always, stay tuned and chowski.